C-SPAN's local content vehicles are traveling the country, visiting cities and communities as we look at issues impacting the nation. We now take you to Cobo Arena in Detroit for the North American International Auto Show, where we caught up with House Minority Leader Steny Hoyer and some Democrat members of the Michigan House delegation.
Carl, you're here with the Volt.
Yeah, we'll look at the Volt. Is that what we're going to do?
Friend, how are you? Good to see you. Good to see you.
Hi.
Okay, good.
Steny Hoyer.
Yeah, sure. Take it back.
Good to see you again. Nice to see you again. Thank you. So I'll show you the Volt, and then I'm going to... You got to take it off. That's all right. It's very tactile. You don't actually push the button.
On behalf of General Motors and all of its employees, we really appreciate what the people of the United States did for our company. And we understand we have a special responsibility to deliver on that promise.
You know, that has been controversial among some, was controversial during the election. And somehow the government has stepped in to, in fact, socialize or make public the automobile companies. A, I don't think that's happened. B, it was not the intent. And C, I think if we had not acted, and we acted in a bipartisan way, President Bush initially said making the investment.
Section 136 was TARP that we put in, and it was put in by Senator Stabenow, the Michigan delegation, with your Mr. Leader.
Excuse me, please. Look at this.
Make like you're driving it, Steny.
All right.
Home, James, home.
Now listen to this quality when I shut this car.
All right. Just make it in America agenda. Keep that in mind.
I just wanted to be able to
because it's
get
a
out
general
quick.
agenda. The American public really understands that if we don't make things in our country, we're not going to be the kind of country we want.
I understand that.
And you are somebody who can convey the success of doing that in a price competitive way. You can make a profit for people in the rest of the world and make it here.
Yep, I agree. Thank you.
The suppliers. So it's a new day for the auto industry.
It certainly is different than last year, isn't it?
Oh God. Last year everybody was dressed in black in demeanor, if not in dress.
No.
Quite an exciting just rated fuel, 27 miles on the highway. So this is a very exciting product for us.
Did they tell you that Mr. Hoyer drives the 300?
Oh,
2000?
excellent. Well, 2003. It's got 47,000 miles on it. So
you can see the difference on the interior.
yeah, exactly. And here's Ralph. Ralph Shields is our key designer.
Hey, Ralph.
Who helps
How are
us
you?
renew this
Good to see you.
interior. Please have a seat if you'd like to.
All right.
Yep. So, as you can see on Chrysler's, a lot of jewelry, a lot of soft touch, chrome features. This also features our brand new infotainment system with an 8.4-inch touchscreen. You can access not only navigation here, but fuel prices, what movies are on at the theaters, everything you can imagine. Now the good news is you can do all that with voice commands. This is the Ferrari.
Compressed natural gas is, by definition, the fastest way to get to a solution with the reliance on foreign oil. The U.S. has got 100 years worth of supply of natural gas. If we replace the whole fleet of all cars on the road.
Mr. Pickens wants you to do that.
Well, you know, the thing is that
because he got a lot of natural gas to sell us.
But Fiat is the biggest user of natural gas technology in Europe. We are the biggest. We know how to run these engines on natural gas.
Benefit of the partnership, the merger of the two companies. If you had to describe what it's meant for,
I think the single large, two things. One is the way in which we actually make cars. We just do it in a way which is different. It's not because we're smarter. I think we've learned how to remove waste from the process and really start putting decision-making capabilities back into the workforce. So that process has started. We're at the beginning of the conversion process. The other thing which I think Chrysler could not have done realistically, there's others, but this fixation that we have on mileage and powertrains and engines, this ability to bring about substantial improvements in mileage and reduction in CO2 is something which has been at the heart of Fiat's development, certainly since I've been here in the last 7 years.
I'm pushing very hard for an agenda for the next, not just this Congress, but for the next decade, which is a Make It in America agenda. It's not a protectionist agenda. I'm a big free trader in our party, as some of my friends in labor know and lament from time to time. We can compete with anybody in the world. The American worker is as talented, as productive as any in the world. We need to create an environment in which you can manufacture things in America, in this case automobiles, and do it profitably. And labor and management have the same interest in doing this. You know, too often we pit people against one another, but we have a commonality of interest in doing this. The challenge that the automobile industry faced, we've now had a response to labor, management, government, talking about partnership with President GM, and we can make things in America. We can do it profitably if we understand the environment that has to be created in order to facilitate it. From a tax standpoint, regulatory and environmental standpoint. Somebody asked me on Nolan, asked me on the well, aren't these environmental policies? Very frankly, the environmental policies, one thing about the government and adopting them is everybody then has to compete within that framework.
You can get petrol, diesel, hybrid, plug-in hybrid, or an all-electric, depending on how we, in public-private partnership, generate the infrastructure. And people are going, whoa. I mean, it's all scale. In fact, Henry Ford's original vision of opening the highways to all mankind because we make it affordable. And we're fighting for the soul of manufacturing in the United States. It's the coolest thing. And we now have 7,000 jobs in the next 2 years.
It was on the ceiling when I brought it down and said, now tell me again.
Well, one of the neat things about the Ford plan, of course, is the fact that we really are supportive of public-private partnerships on further developing the transportation system in the United States. And probably the most important thing we do is what we do about energy policy and also the infrastructure to allow us to operate electric vehicles effectively. So we really appreciate working in a public-private partnership on the big issues that allow us to have more and more electrification.
You did mention the bailout. What role has the bailout served for you?
Well, of course, you know, we had a plan 4 years ago, and we were so pleased not to ask for precious taxpayer money. So we have accelerated our development of all these new products, and now we are repaying the loans that we took out in the private sector. So we have nothing to do with using precious taxpayer money, which we're very proud about.
What we did together, the transformation agreement 3 years ago. I mean, and Bob was there. We sat there and decided if we can get cost competitive, then we are going to make vehicles in the United States and make a profit. And now
we're going to be talking a bit like now we're agenda. I want you on.
Now we're converting the way from SUVs to cars, and we're going to make the petrol, the hybrid, the plug-in hybrid, and the all-electric on the same line. So now, depending on what the demand is, we don't go up and down in employment. We have a more steady employment than we've ever had.
We have some natural gas right now in our Explorer. We're doing it in pockets because I think it makes sense for a niche vehicle. when you can put in a fueling station. It's about $600,000 to put in a pumping station for natural gas. So we've met a lot with T. Boone Pickens because he really believes it on the big hauls.
He's met a lot with us.
Yes, I'm sure he has.
On the big trucks particularly. He wants to go there first.
To me, it makes a lot of sense if we have an energy plan for the U.S. in that those are long hauls. We know where they go. The problem with the natural gas vehicle is the whole trunk would take up, the gas tank, and so it's not a real practical. It's good for the F-150. We're doing them in Texas. We're working with T. Boone. We've got some fleets for AT&T and others, but it's kind of a niche development.
From a national security standpoint, we need to maintain in America a large manufacturing capability. Frankly, the automobile industry is one of the last remaining of those that we have. And I know the Speaker and I and Mr. Levin and Mr. Peters and Mr. Dingell and others all talked about this, having this capacity go offshore would not have been good for our national security. So both from the economy, which is also our national security, but our economy and national security, this investment was important. And I'm pleased to be here. You say it was important to come here. To see that the investment is in fact paying off for the taxpayer, paying off for workers, paying off for our country. And I hope it continues to do so. But what you see here is a focus on efficiency. You see a focus on reorganization to be the most efficient, highest quality, competitive product that we can make. And obviously, Mr. Marchione from Italy, very proud of Fiat, is in effect saying we are doing it here in America with American workers, with American materials largely. That is, I think, something that I'm going to be talking a lot about. We have an agenda that we want to focus on, not just for the next Congress, but for the next decade, which we call Make It in America. And it's about make it in America means succeeding in America, but also manufacturing in America, making a quality product that can compete with any product in the world. And this is, I think, an example of the fact that America can do it and is doing it.
C-SPAN's local content vehicles are traveling the country, visiting cities and communities as we look at issues impacting the nation. For more information on our local content vehicles, go to our website at cspan.org/LCV.